All right, everyone. Welcome to another week of Cinema Through the Seasons. We know the deal. We're going through the seasons and we're talking about movies. We're getting close to Halloween, close to the end of October.
Yes.
So, for this week, we're tackling some pretty big ones this week. We're doing Stephen King, specifically Carrie and The Shining, which are arguably some of the most popular horror movies like ever.
For real?
Yeah, they're big. They're both in the United States National Registry of something something. This is the third week we've done a movie that's it's preserved in the United States National Film Registry. It's the third week we've gone over movies that were included in that, and I haven't been able to remember what it's called every single week. But they're both in there this week.
Okay.
Um yeah, they're like huge. I would say in general, The Shining's probably much bigger, but Carrie also had her moment as well.
Because what? I've never seen The Shining before.
Mhm.
Actually, today I started it last night, but I finished it today. Like the moniker or the line is "Here's Johnny." Like that
Mhm.
was always famous.
Everyone
Yeah,
knows
everybody
Here's
knows
Johnny.
that.
Yeah. Um yeah, but they're both based off of Stephen King books, like I said. Stephen King, who's also probably the most famous writers also ever. And he's written hundreds of books and he's had hundreds of adaptations and
You know, who I got him confused with today.
mm,
R.L. Stein.
Ooh, I mean, they're similar, except R.L. Stein is more geared toward
Yeah,
children.
Goosebumps. I thought he
Yeah,
was the creator of Goosebumps, and I said no, R.L. Stein. I'm like, that's not the same person.
they're not at all the same. They're not all the same person, but I mean, they're related, so I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, but starting with Carrie, because that one came out first. Carrie was in '76, and The Shining came out in 1980. But Carrie was Stephen King's very first novel
Yeah.
that he ever got published. It was his first novel, and Carrie then the movie was also then the first Stephen King adaptation. Yeah, and I think the movie came out in '76, and the book came out in '74. So the people were
Right
on it
after.
pretty quickly. Yeah, it was a hit
Okay.
pretty quickly. I
Okay.
think Stephen King was like 26 or something when they were making the movie, which is wild.
He was young.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean, good for him. Yeah, like I said this earlier, but of the 2, I feel like I prefer Carrie. I don't know. They are both really good, but I feel like I prefer Carrie just in the sense of I think it is more faithful to the book. I know this doesn't mean much to you because you haven't read
I
them.
haven't read neither book.
I've read both, and I've also read Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. But yeah, I think Carrie is very faithful to the book, except for the casting of Carrie. That's like the one thing from this that bothers me. Because in the book, right? Because so Carrie in general is about this girl. She's like this teenage girl, and she's bullied really badly in school. Like everyone hates her, and then everyone in the town hates her and her mother because her mother is like a religious fanatic and she like harasses people in town trying to talk about Jesus and everything. So like her and her mom are like outcasts. And so she's like really sheltered and she's really awkward and she doesn't have any friends and like she just lives a very hard life. Like her mom is abusive and it's like really bad. In the book, another big reason why she's bullied so badly is because everyone thinks that she's ugly. Like she's plus size, like she's a bigger girl and she has like acne and like bad skin and like all these things. And so people, I think in the book, literally like refer to her as a pig a bunch of times. Like they
Mm.
think that like in the book, a big part of that is she's made fun of because she's ugly and because of her weight and stuff. And obviously in the movie, Carrie's played by Sissy Spacek, which I don't have problems with her performance. I actually think she gave a really good performance. She was nominated for an Oscar for this,
Mm.
but she's still a very pretty blonde white girl. Like she's
And very skinny.
she's very skinny. She has like long flowing blonde hair. Like she is still very awkward and like very very socially awkward and she still doesn't have any friends, but that aspect of her being bullied because of her appearance obviously isn't really present because Sissy Spacek is very pretty.
To be honest, I don't know why they really bullied her.
Exactly.
Like in the movie, it
Exactly.
was just like, okay, I know high school, you always find that one person who's always getting bullied and
Mhm.
they just tolerate it, don't ever fight back. But in the beginning scene, they're in gym, they're just playing volleyball. It seems like she doesn't want to be there. She's not interacting. Then the opposing team says, let's hit it to Carrie. We know we'll get the point. Then they go to
Mhm.
shower and all of a sudden her first period happens. And
Yeah,
it's
that's like
like,
what kicks off the
yeah,
movie and her powers is she gets her first period and
yeah,
she has no idea what
what it
periods
is.
are because her mother, like we said, is very religious and she's very hyperfixated on like sin. So her mom never tells her, like, gives her like the period talk. And so she's getting her period for the first time and she thinks she's dying and she like freaks out and she tries to go to everyone else in the locker room. She's like, help me, help me. She thinks she's dying. And like, obviously everyone like bullies her and they throw tampons at her and like tell her to
Crazy.
plug it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that opening scene is very
crazy.
crazy.
But I know them girls probably went through that too. Like your first period, I'm not a girl, so I have never experienced that.
Hmm.
But like you just see yourself bleeding from your private parts, and it's
It's
just
very
like,
scary.
what
It's
the
very
heck
scary,
is
especially
this?
if you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I did. This is a little TMI, but I mean, I did have an idea, but it was still terrifying. Like when
Yeah.
there's blood in your underwear, like
Mm-hmm.
that's scary. It was
Yeah.
very scary.
And
But
nobody related to her at all.
hmm,
Nobody. I said nobody
no.
even related. Not even the coach. The coach came in there and smacked her. Like.
The coach in this movie, she's so aggressive with these girls.
Mm-hmm.
She is nice to
She is
Carrie. She's
very
the only
nice though.
person in the movie who's like actually nice to Well, that's not true. But she's the like first person who's really nice to Carrie, even though yes, she does slap her across the face
Yeah.
when she's freaking out in the shower, she is still like comforting towards her and she
Mm-hmm.
really does try to be a friend towards Carrie. Um, but yeah, with the other girls, she's very aggressive. She's like really, really mad at all of the other girls in the gym class for what they did to Carrie. And she
Mm-hmm.
like gives them all detention and she makes them all like work out for like an hour a day or something.
For 14 days, yeah,
Yeah, it was either because
outside.
yeah, because she was like, you can either do this detention or you can be banned from prom because this is right before prom and everyone's like really hyped because prom's coming up. So they all do the detention because they all want to go to prom. But then there's this one girl, Chris Hargensen, I think her name
That's her
is.
name.
She is like the main mean girl. And she obviously also doesn't want to be in detention. So in the middle of it, she like tries to stand up to the gym teacher, Miss Collins, I think. And yeah, the teacher slaps her across the face again.
Yeah.
Which like, yeah, you actually can't do that.
Listen, the gym teacher didn't give
She did
no
not care.
nothing.
She did not care. Yeah, she just slapped her right across the face, and no one said anything. No one said anything, no one did anything. Everyone just kept running, and Chris left detention, and so she got banned from prom. And she blames Carrie for this. Like, she really, really hates Carrie White, like, probably the most.
What the?
Literally. And she's like very much hyper fixated on Carrie. It's even worse in the book, honestly. Um, in the book, she I feel like is even more hyper fixated on her, and she's like, it's really like. Yeah, I read this with my friends. We tried to do like a book club. Then this was the only book that we read.
Yeah.
But when we were talking about it, my other friend was like, "It's really giving like jobless. Like you don't have any hobbies. You don't have anything else to do. Like you just focus on Carrie all day, every day."
It was crazy, especially when they had the little car scene, the little fight back and forth, and then she ended up having
Yeah. Yeah, she was
intercourse
with
with her
her
boyfriend,
boyfriend, Billy, who's
Billy.
played by
Yes,
a young John Travolta. I think this is one of his first
very
roles.
young, full set of hair,
Yes,
full
lot of
set of hair.
hair,
But
very
yeah,
young
she
looking.
goes down on him, and while she's doing the act, she's saying
I
Carrie.
hate Carrie White.
Yeah, he said, "Who? Huh?
Who is
Who?"
that?
Like he's not even really thinking about anything other than what he's the pleasure. And she's saying another girl name,
Yeah, who's Carrie
like,
White?
what do you want me to do? Like, what's going on right now?
Yes.
That scene to me made no sense right there.
Yeah, that was really weird that they included that. But again, it's even worse in the book. In the movie, her boyfriend Billy is like very like goofy almost. Like, yeah, he's kind of a douche a lot of the time, but he's more goofy than anything. In the book, he's like really like scary and abusive. Like it's like,
to the girlfriend.
yeah, it's really weird actually. And he like obviously doesn't like her very much. Like it's like, yeah, their relationship in the book is way more toxic somehow than it is in the movie. It's still toxic in the movie. Like they curse at each other and he slaps her a few times.
Very much so.
But in the book, it's still somehow worse.
Yeah. So does she fight back in the book? Like,
I don't even think so.
no, because
I
she's
don't.
a strong-minded person in the movie. She does fight
She,
back.
yes, but I feel like girls like that always have horrible boyfriends, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, Carrie. Oh, one of the other girls, what is Sue Snell? She was one of the people who bullied Carrie in the beginning, but then afterwards she feels really bad about it, especially after the gym teacher like grills everyone.
Yeah.
So she gets her boyfriend, Tommy, to who's one of the like they're all like popular people. So she gets her boyfriend Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom to make up for what she did. And Tommy agrees to it for some reason. I honestly don't even really know why. I guess just to make Sue happy.
Gotta be. Need
Yeah.
benefits afterwards, you know, whatever, you know,
Yeah,
whatever you
but
want, baby.
pretty much. But yeah, he goes to Carrie and he like asks her to get to the prom. And at first she says no. But then he asks her again and he goes to her house and he like refuses to leave her house until Carrie says yes. So she says yes. Um we haven't even touched on the superpower parts. Carrie has telekinesis also,
Oh,
which is like,
it was so neat to know that she knew she had powers and how to use them. Like on the
yeah,
walk home,
yeah,
she just showed how she knew how to use the powers when the little boy was like messing with her a little bit.
yeah, at first, because the first time we see it in the movie is when she is in the locker room when they're all making fun of her. She like blows out one of the lights in the locker room. And then the principal's office afterwards, when the principal is sending her home and he keeps calling her the wrong name. He keeps calling her Cassie instead of Carrie. And he's literally told 7 times in the
Yo.
scene, Carrie, her name is Carrie, my name is Carrie. He just immediately forgets every time and he keeps calling her Cassie. And yeah, eventually she gets fed up and she like flips over the ashtray or whatever.
And walks out.
Yeah, and then on her walk home, there's a little boy who's like taunting her on a bike, and she like knocks him off the bike or whatever. So we're seeing like little demonstrations of her powers, and obviously she's starting to realize that she's moving things with her mind. So then there are parts in the book where she reads about it and she tries to learn how to use her powers, and she starts getting more powerful. Until the very end when she goes fully crazy. And she's pretty powerful by the end too. Yeah.
Very, very much powerful.
But yeah, like I said, she lives with her mother. It's just her and her mom because her father abandoned her. She says at some point in the book that her father ran away with another woman. And so it's her and her mom's really, really religious, like really extreme, like Christian evangelical or something like that. And she locks Carrie in a prayer closet that has this scary statue of a saint. It's like bloody with arrows in it.
I thought that was Jesus.
I think it's supposed to, I watched a video of it and the guy said it was Saint Sebastian or something like that.
Okay. But wait, since we're talking about the mom, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The mother is a nut.
Yes,
Like,
she's a crazy woman. She's really unstable.
She believes in a God, but I don't know if that God is the God that everybody else believes in. She is a religious nut. She beat her daughter because her daughter got her period.
Yeah, she didn't tell Carrie about periods. Like I said, Carrie had no idea what a period was, which is why when she got it, she thought she was dying. So then she got home. And I think the gym teacher calls the mom and tells her what happened. So then Carrie's like, why wouldn't you tell me? Like, I thought I was dying. Like, what you should have told me. And the mom's like, well, like, now you're a woman now. You have sin or something like that.
Yeah, you sinned. You know, God only gives the blood to the woman who had sex or something, the mom was saying, which was crazy.
It was really, really nonsensical. And she locks Carrie in the closet, she locks Carrie in the prayer closet. She like drags her by her hair into the closet or something. Well, and then so Carrie lives home with her mom by herself, and the mom kind of hints that she kind of knows what's going on with Carrie's powers. Because in the book, it's established that Carrie starts showing her powers when she's really young. Like there's an incident in the book where Carrie and her mom get into a fight, and she's really little. And Carrie gets so upset that rocks start falling from the sky, but they only fall on their house.
Oh
And so it's
snap!
like giant boulders like falling from the sky and they like destroy their house. Yeah.
So the mom in the book knew she had powers, but in the movies, to me, it didn't seem like the mom knew she had powers.
Maybe not till the end.
Yeah,
You might be right,
till
actually.
before the prom because
Yeah.
she said, "Carrie, you're not going to the prom."
No, she did show her because in when they were having dinner together or whatever, this is when Carrie told her mom that Tommy asked her to the prom and she said yes, and they're having dinner and the mom gets super upset because she
Yeah,
doesn't want Carrie
it's the
going
scene
out
I'm
with
talking
boys,
about. Yeah.
obviously. So then they're arguing and Carrie like starts opening and closing the windows or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mom obviously freaks out because she thinks Carrie's the devil, obviously.
Very
And
much so. Called her a witch. Yo,
yeah, she calls her a witch and
crazy,
calls her
crazy.
she got her powers from the devil. Yeah, but in the book, yeah, the mom knows when
Okay.
she's younger that she has powers because of that incident with the rocks and everything.
Okay. I did like that scene though in the movie because that was the first time you actually see Carrie stand up to somebody, and then
Yeah,
for it to be her mom is like a huge stepping stone, so she can stand up to everybody else. Because the abuse she was going through in that house,
yeah, it was really crazy.
sheesh.
But I agree. I think her developing her powers and her like knowing that she has this thing that no one else has kind of gave her that strength to
Mm-hmm.
start standing up for her mom and start like being more outgoing. Cause she also says in that conversation that she wants to try to be normal because she doesn't like being an outcast, obviously. She doesn't like being bullied
Yeah.
and she doesn't like having no friends. So
Mm-hmm.
she wants to try to like be a member of society and her mom doesn't like that either, obviously.
Yeah. She also says things are going to start to change around here, mom.
Mm-hmm.
The mom ain't like that.
No. Um, but yeah, so then we get to the end. Carrie's going to the prom. She like makes her dress. Mom doesn't like her dress. She thinks it's too revealing. I think she says like, "I can see your dirty pillows" or something.
Yeah, literally, they're called breasts, mom.
Yes, and all women have them. That's what she says. Um, but yeah, and then she goes to the prom, and the mom keeps trying to stop her. And she's like, everyone's gonna laugh at you, like they're all gonna be mean to you, and she does not want Carrie to go. And so Carrie uses her powers to like make the mom stay in the house so she can't stop her anymore. So then she goes to the prom and it starts off really good. Like her and Tommy are having a fine enough time. And then the gym teacher comes up to her and she's really nice to her. And she's like, "Oh, I'm like so glad that you're here and everything." And then they find out that they got nominated to be prom king and queen. And they end up voting for themselves. She doesn't want to at first, but Tommy's like, "Come on." And she's like, "Okay." So
Yeah,
they, hmm,
that makes her a good person too. To like not vote for yourself right there in that scene, because she could have voted for like she and at big. Yeah, I know they voted for themselves at the end, but in the beginning she's like, I don't even want to vote for myself. Like, we can vote for somebody else.
I feel like it's just because she didn't want to win. Like, I don't think she just wanted to be in the spotlight like that.
I the way I seen it,
Mm.
or from my point of view, it was like she's still like a good person, even though everybody here at this school sucks and is a bad person to her. She still like has a good heart at the end of the day, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, they vote for themselves. But oh yeah, so in the background of all this, the mean girl Chris, and she's like planning a prank to for prom. So her and Billy and Billy's friends kill a pig and they collect the pig's blood and then they rig a bucket on top of the stage. And so they have Chris's friends at the school rig the election so that Carrie and Tommy win. So then when they're up on the stage, like after they win, they like Chris like pulls a string and the pig's blood falls on Carrie and they both get like covered in pig's blood and she's like humiliated and everything. So that's exactly what happens. They get elected, the friends like switch out the ballots or whatever so that they win. And then they get up there and Carrie's like really, really happy at first. And then yeah, she gets covered in pig's blood and the bucket after it falls it after it spills the blood, the bucket falls off wherever it was in the ceiling and it falls on Tommy's head. And the theory is that he dies when the bucket hits him in the head.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he dies
Yeah, I was
regardless,
about to say,
but
listen,
he,
everybody
either
died.
way, he dies. But a lot of people say that he specifically died when the bucket hits him in the head.
I don't think the bucket could be strong enough to do
I don't
that.
know. But I mean, it doesn't matter. He dies regardless. But and then and then Sue was also there. She goes to the prom to like make sure that Tommy and Carrie are having a good time. And then while she's there, she sees Chris about to do something and she tries to stop her. But then the gym teacher sees Sue and she thinks that Sue is trying to do something. So she kicks Sue out of the gym. And so Sue isn't fast enough to be able to stop them. And so it happens anyway. And Carrie gets covered in the blood, which is so sad. Like it was very narrowly avoided. Like I understand the gym teacher meant well, but like, and mind you, it was Sue's idea for Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom anyway.
And Neil Tom was having a good night. He was kissing
Yeah.
on Carrie and all that.
Yes, in the book too, he was like really into her in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of reads like he was like actually kind of falling for her in the book. I obviously don't know if that's the case in the movie, but they do kiss in
They
both.
kiss multiple times in the
Yeah,
movie. That's why
they're
I'm like, yo, is he like, does he really like Carrie? Does
yeah.
he have permission to do this from his girlfriend? Sue was very pretty in the movie too. Sue was pretty in the movie.
She was pretty. I think honestly, I think everyone was very good looking in this movie. Which, like I said, defeats the purpose of Carrie. But
Yeah.
I still like Sissy Spacek, so I'm willing to overlook it. But I'm just saying. But yeah, the blood falls and everyone starts laughing at Carrie, which is just like her mother said would happen. So like,
I don't think everybody was laughing at her.
I
I
think
think
there
she
are
was seeing that.
some things where like she was just seeing things like thinks she sees
The
that the gym
coach,
teacher
yeah.
laughing at her, which wasn't true.
Yeah,
Obviously,
not
if after watching the movie, we as the audience know that the gym teacher would not laugh at her like that.
at all.
But I think all of the others, or at least most of the students, were laughing at her.
Yeah, but like when they were showing Chris's friend, I forget her best friend
In the
name.
hat.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was really the only one laughing in that section, and then it was like 2 to 3 other people in the crowd laughing, but then like the what's the thing that you put on your one eye and you
The
twist it around?
kaleidoscope.
The kaleidoscope. It was like giving that picture that angle, and then everybody was laughing everywhere.
Yeah, she probably did imagine how much people were laughing or how many people were laughing, but some people were probably laughing at her.
Oh yeah, the girls that were playing the jokes, they were jerks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Chris
they
was laughing with Billy outside.
Yeah, so then this is when Carrie snaps and she like locks all of the doors to the gym and she kills everyone in there. She uses her powers and she like sets like she sets a fire, she electrocutes some people. The gym teacher gets crushed by like a baseboard or something, which was sad. That was like the only death that was like really sad because she really did try, but I feel like if anything she was more collateral damage.
I look like Carrie wanted to do that, but she seen her laugh in her head. So.
Yeah, in her head, the fact that she imagined her laughing probably just, it really set her off. But yeah, so, and then she sets the entire gym on fire and then she leaves and she locks the doors behind her. So it's obviously implied that everyone there dies except for Sue, Chris, and the boyfriend. So then Chris and the boyfriend are like driving away and they see Carrie walking in the road. And they obviously just saw her kill everyone. So they try to run her over. Like Chris tries to run her over and Carrie flips the car with her mind and it explodes. And then obviously they both also die, which I was not sad about. Can't lie.
No, I wasn't sad about any of the murders except for the coach. Carrie, that was a justifiable crash out in the gym.
Yeah, it's definitely very much built like obviously as the audience, you can empathize with her absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So then she goes home and her mom is like being creepy and she's like hiding in her room. So then Carrie goes and she like washes all the blood off and she sees her mom and she obviously wants comfort from her mother, but does she offer that? No, of course not. Why would she? She would not do that. As she like confesses that she thinks that Carrie has these powers. Like I said, she thinks that Carrie has like the power of the devil or whatever. She thinks that she has it because she sinned by having intercourse with Carrie's father, which she didn't want to do. Like I guess she's even thought that being intimate after marriage was still a sin. Maybe you're right. She's definitely not a mainstream Christian.
At all.
Definitely not a mainstream Christian. So she still, for some reason, thought that um, having intercourse with Carrie's father was still a sin even after they were married. But Carrie's dad eventually got sick of that and he kind of forces himself on her, but the mom admits that she liked it anyway. And then obviously that's when Carrie was what's the word?
Conceived.
Conceived. That's when Carrie was conceived. Thank you. That's when Carrie was conceived. And so the mom thinks that that's why Carrie has these powers is because she sinned. And she says that she wished she had killed Carrie when she was born or like caused herself to have a miscarriage when she found out she was pregnant or something like that. But she was weak. But now she's strong enough to do what needs to be done. And she stabs Carrie in the back. And she like and Carrie like falls down the stairs and she like starts chasing her with this knife. So then Carrie uses her powers and she like sends all of these other knives and utensils to her mom and they like stab her mom a bunch of times and they like pin her to the doorway. So then at the very end, she's in the same pose as the statue in the prayer closet.
Very much so.
Yes, it's very symbolic.
I didn't realize that when I watched the movie, but I realized that like 10 minutes ago when we talked about the guy hanging up on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's when I realized that.
Yeah.
But wait, you skipped over the most important part when Carrie
What?
got to the house. The creepiest part. All those candles lit up in the house.
Oh yeah, she
Yo,
got in her house and her mom lit like
that
a
was
million
crazy.
candles and she had some like in front of like a tapestry on the wall and she had some on the bed like on the
Yo,
comforter.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Scary. I was scared. I'm like, yo, where is the mom at?
Yeah.
And then I just see her hiding
Yeah,
behind
she
the
was
bathroom
hiding
door.
in Carrie's room,
I'm like,
waiting for her to get home.
This nut, this weirdo.
Yeah, she was a crazy woman. Really, really. Yeah, but then and then after Carrie kills her mom, she obviously is like really distraught by this because even though they obviously have a really horrible relationship, or because even though the mom is really horrible towards her, Carrie still does love her mother. In a way.
Yeah.
I think she does still love her
No,
mom.
she does. She definitely does.
She's even when she starts kind of taking back control with her powers, she's still kind of like soft with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Like she definitely could use the opportunity to be as abusive to her as the mom is to her, but she isn't. So I think Carrie definitely does still have love for her mom. So then after she kills her, it's like too much for her to handle. And then she like lashes out with her mind again and she destroys the house and she like can't get out. So her and her mom get killed as the house is coming down and then the house like sinks into the ground. So then obviously she dies in the house along with her mom. And that's the end pretty much. Like Sue is the only survivor. And she has a dream at the very end that she goes to where Carrie's house was and she like puts flowers near where she died and then Carrie's like bloody hand like shoots out of the ground and grabs her.
Did you jump when you first seen that?
Maybe. I
did.
first watched this movie a long time ago, so maybe it's possible.
I jumped last night when I seen that. I said, "Oh my god, they got me."
Yeah.
I thought it was real too. I didn't think she was dreaming because the mom said, we're gonna move. So I thought they had moved, and then she had came back like when she got older and visited the grave. Then all of a sudden you see the bloody hand. I said, "Oh snap!" I really jumped.
I do think I thought it was real at first, but then obviously at the end she like wakes up and then you realize it was just a dream. But I think at first I didn't realize that sequence wasn't real.
Those are not dreams. Those are nightmares. Those are nightmares.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Carrie. Like I said, I feel like I enjoy this movie more than The Shining.
I did. I definitely enjoyed Carrie more than The Shining. The Shining, I just didn't understand.
Really?
It was a lot of weird things just going on. I think Jack was a terrible guy.
Yeah, the Carrie is definitely more straightforward when it comes to like the themes and the plot and everything. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it is a lot more true to the book. If I'm remembering correctly, I haven't read it in a few years, but I think I do enjoy the book. There are like some parts that are a little just the way that, like I said, it's about teenage girls. So just the way that Stephen King kind of writes about like their sex lives and everything is kind of concerning. And like about their bodies and stuff. That part is kind of weird to get through.
Which was the bathroom scene?
I don't even know if
Not even the
they're
bathroom, the locker scene. I mean,
yeah, I don't even know if it was that explicit in the book, but just
probably
like
not.
with Chris and her boyfriend, and
Yeah.
then with Sue, and like how she like loses, lost her virginity to Tommy and everything. Those parts are a little weird to get through
In the book or the movie?
in the book.
Okay, I was about to say I didn't see Sue do anything with Tommy in the movie.
Yeah, it's more because obviously the book is way longer and more
Yeah.
detailed than the movie.
Okay.
But another thing about the book that is cool is it there throughout the book there are like kind of I don't even know like reports of what happens at prom night, but it's like sprinkled throughout the book before prom night actually happens. So it's like when you're reading the book, you know that something really bad is going to happen because it's like
Okay.
newspaper clippings or whatever, and like they have to speak with like Congress or whatever when they're doing an investigation about what happens, and
Jeez.
there's like scientific like journals or whatever because they're looking into like how Carrie got her powers like genetically. Like in the book, it's kind of established that Carrie's mother's grandmother also had powers, and so her having telekinesis is genetic, and there's like a genetic component into her having powers. So there's a lot of that until you get to the end, and then you find out what happens. So I think that part is really cool about the book, and also changes perspectives a lot. Like it's mostly from Carrie, Sue, and Chris's perspectives. They're like the main three in the book.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's really good for Stephen King's first book. I think it's very impressive. Yeah, but this movie was a hit when it first came out. Like I said, Sissy Spacek and the actress who played her mom, I think her name is Piper Laurie. They were both nominated for Academy Awards, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress. I think.
Okay. Yeah, the mom played the mess out of her role, especially
And
when
the mom
she
did so good. I
when
think
she
she was really
died
good.
and her face turned towards Carrie. I'm like, oh my god, she's scary. She's definitely scary.
Yeah, I think her like really manic monologues that she did, I think those were really good.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Carrie. Very good. And then we have The Shining, which is probably it's definitely the more popular. It's probably one of the most famous horror movies ever, like ever.
Red rum.
Yeah, Red Rum.
Red rum.
Here's Johnny. After I watched The Shining, I watched the Simpsons Treehouse Horror episode where they did The Shining. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it later today.
You should. It's season 6, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, the first half of the episode is them doing The Shining, where like they go, Mr. Burns sends them to like take care of his winter estate or whatever. And Bart has The Shining, but they call it The Shinning because of copyright. Bart has The Shinning, and Homer goes crazy and tries to kill his family because there's no cable and no beer. It's really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, no cable and no beer.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's
Homer.
why he chases everyone with an axe. But yeah, The Shining, I think, was Stephen King's third novel, which apparently his agent or his publishers or whatever, like, kind of, I guess, discouraged him from doing this one because they're like, well, then everyone will think that you're a horror writer if you do 3 books in a row. And he's like, yeah, that's the point. Stephen King is a horror writer. But yeah, this was his third. It came out in 1977, and then The Shining came out in 1980. So also in very quick succession. And this one, also another reason why it's so popular, it was made by Stanley Kubrick. It was directed, produced, and co-written by Stanley Kubrick. For this one, I don't know. I think it is a good movie on its own. I think that when you look at it as an adaptation, it has a lot of issues. Obviously, you've never read the book.
I've never read the book because of that issue right there. I don't want to compare the book to the movie.
I know. I mean, it's literally an adaptation of the book. You have to. You literally have to compare them. Because yeah, it has a lot. Okay, because the book is like supernatural horror, right?
Hmm.
The movie, I think, is more of a psychological horror.
Very much so.
Yeah, so it
Very
doesn't, it
much.
kind of, it takes out a lot of the supernatural elements from the book. Um yeah, that's like kind of a big part of why it's not as true to the book, is because it takes out a lot of, because it's like the hotel is supposed to be like haunted and it's like evil, and then Danny has superpowers. The Shining, he has the Shining. But in this, Danny still has his powers, obviously, but it kind of reads more as Jack going crazy, and that's why there are weird things going on in the hotel rather than the hotel driving Jack crazy because it's
Hmm.
evil, because that's how it happens in the book. Um, and then you're not really made to think that the hotel is haunted until like the very end, or at least the last like third of the movie is where it kind of shows like there are spirits in the hotel. um but most of it you think is because Jack is going crazy, and that's why he's like talking to people and stuff.
Nah, yeah. To me, I just thought he just totally lost it. He
Exactly.
lost it like on, you know how they said 1 month later, and then
Hmm.
Tuesday. I think he
Hmm.
lost it that Thursday or Saturday. That first week there, well, a
Yeah.
month and a week there,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, what is he doing?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the movie makes it seem like he just has a really bad case of cabin fever, and that's why he goes crazy. Which is why Stephen King very publicly did not like this movie.
yeah, no,
Yeah, he did not like this movie because he didn't feel it was faithful to his book. Because he wrote a script for it. Excuse me. He wrote a script for it, but Stanley Kubrick rejected his script because he thought it was too he thought it was too similar to the book. So
hmm,
he rejected his script. And so him and another woman, Diane Johnson, wrote a different one. And Diane Johnson seemed to be kind of a hater of the book. She was like, she literally said she didn't think it was that good and that it was pretentious.
didn't the book win awards or
Yes,
something like
it's a
that?
famous book.
Okay,
But yeah,
the
she's
movie is famous too,
and
though.
it is a
Yeah,
famous
the
movie. They're
movie is
both famous,
famous
and I
too.
think in their own rights.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you get to comparing them, there's a lot of issues. But yeah, she apparently she didn't even like the book that much. And then Stanley Kubrick, obviously, I think a big part of him doing this also was like he wanted a payday, because the movie he did before this flopped.
Cracking up.
What was it even called? Barry Lyndon. That's the movie he did before this.
Barry Lyndon. No
No?
idea.
Exactly.
No
And he
idea.
turned down directing The Exorcist, which
Yeah.
yeah, which itself was a huge hit. And he turned down doing The Exorcist, and the movie he did instead did not do very well. So he did this instead. He did The Shining, which when it first came out, it did come out to like very mixed reviews, and
Hmm.
it got the Razzies, the Raspberry Awards.
No,
Really? You've never heard of the
not
Razzies?
at all.
It's an award show which basically nominates things for like the worst. Like it's for award shows for things that they think are bad. So like this was the very first Golden Raspberry Awards, and Shining got nominated for worst director and worst actress.
The first year after the first year it came out,
I'm not sure which
or the
year
what?
this was.
Whenever it was eligible for that little award show. So dang, when did people?
1981. So yeah, it was the
1981.
year after The Shining came out.
So when did
At the
people start liking The Shining?
I'm honestly
Cause
not
that's crazy.
yeah.
That's an iconic movie right
Yeah,
now.
like I said, it's one of the biggest it's a lot of people think it's one of the greatest films like ever, and like I said, it's preserved in the National Film Registry. So I'm not sure
Yeesh.
exactly why
People.
people flipped about it, but now, yeah, it's like one of the most popular movies ever made. And also the worst actress nomination did get rescinded because it came out that Stanley Kubrick was like really horrible to Shelley Duvall
That's the
behind
wife.
the scenes. Yeah, Shelley Duvall is the wife. Wendy, she's the one who got nominated for worst actress. But it
What?
came out that he was like really horrible to her behind the scenes, and so they eventually rescinded that.
She wasn't no. She wasn't a bad actress to me. She was just like a useless character
I think
in a
she
way.
did well. I feel like the script, like you said, I feel like the script kind of did her dirty. Because in the
Yeah,
book, Wendy's supposed to be of a lot more like conviction, but in this,
she's so dumb
she's way more
and
like
low.
meek.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, she does what she can. Like when she confronts Drac and she like hits him with the bat and locks him
yeah,
in the
that was very
pantry or
smart.
whatever. She did good there. But she is kind of whiny. And like, yeah, but I feel like the script just kind of did her dirty. And then also like how well was she supposed to act when Stanley Kubrick is like terrorizing her behind the scenes, and she's like she had a really hard time like mentally doing this movie because of how he was treating her. But I think other people did too, because Stanley Kubrick, it was very famously a very particular director,
Hmm.
and so he would make people do like hundreds or like dozens of takes for one scene. Um, like Scatman Crothers, who played Dick Halloran, he apparently also had a really hard time filming this movie because Stanley Kubrick made him do like hundreds of takes of certain scenes and he just like could not handle it. Apparently, the first guy who they wanted to cast for Dick Halloran said no because he had worked with Kubrick before and he was like, I don't want to work with that guy again. So he said no, and that's why they casted Scatman.
He wasn't even in the movie that much.
He had
Like
like,
5 scenes, maybe.
yeah, I mean like 3 to 5 scenes.
He
He
did
was
have an
having a hard enough
yeah.
time.
He did have an important scene with Danny when they were talking in the kitchen when he
Hmm.
was eating ice cream. He told him of what the power was called. He could
Hmm.
do it too. And I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, how does he know his nickname Doc?
Yeah, I think that scene was one they had to do an exorbitant amount of times.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I could see.
yeah. But for anyone who somehow doesn't know what The Shining is, it's about this guy named Jack and his wife and son, Danny and Wendy. They go to stay at this hotel because Jack's supposed to be like the winter caretaker while the hotel's closed during the winter. And while he's there, he, at least in the movie, Jack kind of starts to lose his grip on his sanity. And then he gets like, he unravels more and more. And then at the end, he attacks his wife and son with an axe and he tries to kill them. And also, Danny has superpowers. He has superpowers called the Shining, where he can see things, he can see the future mostly, and he can see like spirits and stuff, which is like kind of the only inkling that something is actually wrong with the hotel in the movie, is that Danny is also seeing ghosts in here. Then, like you said, the one of the employees of the hotel, Dick Halloran, who's the chef, who he also has The Shining, and he said that him and his grandmother both had it, which kind of implies also, like in Carrie, that The Shining maybe has like a genetic component,
Hmm.
because him and his grandmother both had The Shining, and they used to like talk to each other in each other's minds, and so him and Danny can kind of do the same thing. And they have like a little friendship. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the yeah. But apparently, Stanley Kubrick was nice to the little kid who played Danny. I think his name was Danny Lloyd. Apparently, he was nice to him. And apparently the kid didn't even know that it was a horror movie, because it was, I guess, kind of difficult to find a kid to play Danny because it was a horror movie, and so parents didn't want their kids to be in
Hmm.
the movie. So apparently they told Danny that it was like a drama instead of a horror movie. So we didn't really realize that it was a horror movie.
Nothing really bad happened to Danny other than seeing the twins and then seeing them die, blood coming out of the elevator, and then he getting
Yeah.
chased
Well,
around the
no, I feel
closed
like Danny had a
maze.
hard time, like mentally.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he was
he
going through
did.
a
He definitely
lot, like
did.
in this hotel. Like I said, the hotel is like haunted and it's supposed to be evil. So when he's there, the his shining kind of shows him like all of these like really horrific like images of like the two girls that are dead, because it's said that in the previous caretaker um lost his mind and killed his wife and his two daughters with an axe. So Danny kind of sees the ghosts of the two girls, and then he sees them on the floor, like all bloody after their father murders them with the axe. And he sees like another really iconic scene of the blood coming out of the elevator. Um, yeah.
The mom seen that too. So she doesn't have powers. She just seen
No,
it.
I think at the end, like I said, we don't really realize that the hotel is haunted until the very end. And I
Okay.
think that's when it kind of shows itself. It probably because it thinks that Jack is going to kill her anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, she also starts to see ghosts and then she sees the blood coming out of the elevator.
Yeah. Skeleton. A room full of
Yeah, there's like the
skeletons.
ballroom
The
that's full of
guy. Blood
skeletons
coming down
and
his face.
yeah.
Okay. Then the okay. Oh, the only thing that I did not understand. So
Mm,
at the very end,
mhm,
after Wendy and Danny leave, and then Jack is frozen. It shows the picture of them in a party.
mhm.
July 4th party,
Yeah, from 1921.
1921.
Yeah, and
There's
it's a
a
picture of
picture of
Jack.
Jack. So was Jack was Jack like in I don't know what year this was taking place.
1980.
1980. Okay. So how could he be in two places at once? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Who was
So
he?
I think so when in one of Jack's like visions or whatever, when he sees all the ghosts,
Mm-hmm.
um, he's talking to this guy
In the
who
bathroom?
he's talking to the ghost of the past caretaker,
Uh-huh.
Grady, because also after he killed his wife and his daughters, he also killed himself. So he's like talking to his ghost, and Jack's like, "Oh, I know you. Like you were the guy who murdered your family." And and Ghost is like, "No, like I'm not the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker. Like you're the caretaker." So I think that's kind of what that means. It's
Him
like
talking to himself.
I think it's
That's how I seen
more
that.
like I don't know if it's like a reincarnation type thing, but I think it's like Jack has always been the caretaker in a way, or at least people who are like, I don't know. I feel it's hard for me to verbalize it. I guess it is kind of like reincarnation in a way.
Okay. Now, all right. So the bathroom scene too. Did want to talk about that. When I
Mm-hmm.
first seen that, I think I was watching that this morning with my brother before I got to school to finish it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching it, and I'm seeing them have this little dialogue in the bathroom. And when he did say that you've always been the caretaker, I'm like, so what if that's him? What if Grady? What if he is Grady and he's just having a conversation with himself? Because then Grady does start to open up, and he says, your son is bringing the he used the hard R.
He did. I don't know. I do not. He did. He called Dick Halloran the hard R. That shocks me every time I watch it.
It shocked the mess out
It
of me.
shocks me every time I watch this movie. I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times. Every time I'm like, "Oh." Like I feel like I forget that they
Okay, then they
include
do say
that.
the word again, but I don't think it
They say
is
it
the hard R.
twice.
They said the
He
hard
says it
R's
and
wife.
then Jack
Okay.
Nicholson says it.
Okay, so yeah, in that bathroom, scene, he said your son is bringing him here. He was like, who? Then they keep saying it again. He was like, yeah, you gotta get rid of
Correct
him.
him.
Yeah,
You
or
have to
that.
correct them.
Then he said, no, Jack said, no, it could be my wife. My wife is interfering and everything. He was like, you might gotta basically he was saying you
Correct
might
her
gotta
too.
kill her too. So
Mhm.
in my head, I'm like, is he him? Is he Grady the whole time? And then they show the picture at the end and he's in the front. I'm like, yo, is that him? I took off my glasses and adjusted, like, yo, is this him?
I think it's like
And
the
it was from
spirit.
1920.
Yeah, I think it's like the spirit of whatever lets the hotel take control of the caretakers. I think maybe that gets passed on or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. But
So
yeah,
who's
that's also
Jack?
one of the only like indicators that there's something supernatural happening was at the very end. But yeah, that's another thing is like this movie is very like Jack is the main character in this movie, and in the book it's Danny who's the main character, and it's very much about him and like what he's experiencing with his powers, and then also having powers in this evil hotel that like wants him for something, and like that's why in the book that's why the hotel takes control of Jack because it can't take control of Danny
Because he's a kid or he has powers.
because of his powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why the hotel wants to kill him or just wants his soul to live there forever? That's why they want to kill him.
Maybe both.
Okay.
I haven't read it in a while. The Shining and Doctor Sleep I want to reread now because I haven't read either of them in a while.
Okay.
But yeah. What else? Oh, another thing is the hedge maze. So in this, there's a huge hedge maze outside of the hotel that at the end of the movie, Jack gets lost in when he's chasing Danny with the axe. Danny like tricks him so that he can't
Smart.
follow his footsteps, and
Smart.
Danny makes it out, but Jack gets lost and he freezes to death. But another thing in the book is that instead of hedge maids, they're hedge animals, like like how they like carve animals out of like bushes.
Hmm.
And obviously in the 80s and the late 70s, they did not have the technology to like do that. But in the book, there's a scene where Danny's like playing outside by himself, and he every time he looks at the hedge animals, they're a little bit closer to him, and like they're in like different positions. So like he'll look away and he'll look back and they're closer, and he'll look away and he'll look back and they're closer, and eventually they just get closer and closer and they attack him.
Why didn't he run?
I don't I don't remember. I think
Not
he
waiting for
did.
that to get close.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I just remember that specific scene because it's a really cool scene in the book, obviously. But like I said, in the movie, it's not like they really had the technology or the budget to do something
Oh
like
my
that.
god.
Yeah, but yeah, it's things like that. Like I said, don't really.
Yeah, that wasn't in the movie at
Yeah,
all.
no.
At all. That would have been scarier right there.
I think having a more faithful adaptation of The Shining, I think would be cool. Not that this movie isn't good. Like I said, I think this movie is good by itself when you don't compare it to the book. I do think it's a really good movie because
Okay.
I do really enjoy psychological thrillers. So I think this is a good psychological thriller. But and then, like I said, the issue is that The Shining isn't supposed to be that. So it kind of changes it fundamentally with that. And so, like, I understand why Stephen King did not like it from that point of view. Um, but it is still, like, I can't say that it's not a good movie because it is. It is a really good movie. And I think Jack Nicholson, I think he did a good job because he's Jack Nicholson. But another,
Skinny.
yeah,
Skinny Jack Nicholson right there.
skinny. He did get bigger as
He
he
got
got
older.
yeah, when he got older. Yeah, he did. But I will say King also didn't want Jack Nicholson in this because he he's kind of a creepy man. Like
What, in the movie?
yes, but also I think he just plays kind of creepy roles in general, and he has a very intense face.
Very much
The
so.
faces that he
Yeah.
makes in this movie, like when he stares at the camera for however long,
Mm-hmm.
he has a very intense, like creepy look on his face.
Very much so.
And I think in the book, Jack is supposed to be like a normal person.
Who
Like
just
he's
loses
just a
his
normal
mind.
dude who gets possessed by a hotel, but like he's much like a normal like family man.
Is he a good man in the book at first?
And that's another thing in the book. His alcoholism is a much bigger deal in the book. So in the movie, another thing about this movie, well, about the story in general, is that Jack is a recovered alcoholic, and there was an incident when he was drunk where he got home and Danny was in his office or in his study or whatever, and he was looking through his papers, and Jack yanked him to like try to get him away from his stuff, but he did it so hard that he dislocated Danny's arm or Danny's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Which Wendy mentions it in this movie, and then it's mentioned later on too. But in the book, it's a much bigger deal. And then there's also another incident in the book where he was a teacher, and in the movie, it makes it seem like he just like quit teaching so he could write. But in the book, he's fired from teaching because he went to school drunk and he assaulted a student. So he got fired.
Raped a student or assaulted?
I know. I think he like got into like a physical
Oh, okay.
altercation with a
Okay.
student. Yeah, and so he gets fired, and that's why it's also why he takes this job. So yeah, his alcoholism and things like that are a much bigger part of the book because Stephen King himself is a recovered addict too.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not at
he
all.
was an alcoholic too. But yeah, it's not as big of a deal in this. And like I said, until like the end when he relapses in the hotel, like the hotel, like
Gave him alcohol.
yeah, one of
Literally.
a
The
ghost of
ghost.
a bartender gives him
And he knew the guy's name. He knew the
yeah,
bartender's name.
Lloyd.
Like, how did he just know that?
Yeah. I
So he really is from 1920.
I think the whatever spirit that the
Possessed him?
hotel kind of latches onto, I think maybe it's passed down to different men or something. I really don't know.
I'm gonna have to look into that picture. I
Mm.
just didn't like.
The picture.
I really am because 19th July 4th, 1920th party.
Mm.
He's front and center right there.
Mm.
But I didn't like Jack as a person. Even from the beginning, it seemed like he was just the a-hole to his wife and his kid. Like
He's definitely very dismissive from the beginning,
Mhm.
even before he kind of starts to lose it.
that car scene when they're driving up there.
Yeah, because in the movie, it's obvious Danny and Wendy are very close,
Mhm.
and Jack isn't. Like he's probably, I guess, probably not that present, as I'm sure many husbands weren't back back then. So yeah, him and Danny and Wendy are very close, which then makes Jack like paranoid towards the end. He's like, oh, they're like working against me, they're conspiring against me, which is why he needs to correct them. But yeah, what did you say?
I didn't like Jack's character
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie. He spazzes on Wendy too, but you
Yeah,
could tell he is changing when he does start to lash out
he
on her.
definitely, yeah, he gets meaner and meaner to Wendy, and she
Mhm.
just kind of takes it too, which kind of, like I said in the book, I feel like she had a bit more conviction, but in this, like he's like so rude to her, and she's just like, okay.
Yeah, like she's just
Until I will say,
I'm your
until
wife.
she thinks that Jack hurt Danny again, like when Danny goes into room 237,
237.
which is a big deal in this, because when Danny and Wendy are first like find out they're going to the hotel, Danny at first doesn't want to go because of his shining, which he calls Tony, and he says it's a little boy who lives in his mouth. So obviously Wendy just thinks it's like an imaginary friend. So Tony shows Danny a bunch of like images from the hotel, and one of them is of the door to room 237. And Danny asks Dick about it when they're talking, and Dick's like, well, there's nothing in there, but don't go in there. Like, do not go in that room. But eventually, Danny's curiosity gets the better of him, and he goes into the room and he gets attacked by a spirit or a ghost in the room.
I'm mad they
And
didn't
then,
show us that.
yeah, they don't show what happens to him. I mean, you see later that there's a ghost in the room when Jack goes in. So obviously, there's
Yeah.
something in there. But whatever it is, it tries to strangle him or something. So then when he goes to Wendy and when he sees what happens, she thinks that it's Jack. And that's when she kind of turns on him, or like kind of starts to get kind of a backbone, at least when she thinks that he hurt her kid. At least she kind of does something.
I don't see how she could think that he hurt her kid though, because she entered the room and he was asleep having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have time to do anything right then and there.
That's true. But I mean, considering he already hurt Denny before,
Yeah.
and he was literally having a nightmare about murdering them with an axe.
Cutting them up into little pieces.
Yeah. So the context
Like,
clues were not
what?
helpful to that
At all.
anyway. So
And plus he's just staring at her. Like he didn't
he
get up.
didn't say like, oh, I didn't do it. What the hell?
Not even like, yo,
yeah.
have some concern for your child over
That
here.
too.
Like he
He's
just sat in the
sitting
chair
there.
and just stared, blank face.
Yeah.
The expression that the guy didn't like Stephen King.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But yeah, 230, which in the book it's room 217, but apparently at the hotel they filmed the exterior at, they didn't want it to be room 217 because they're like, oh, they thought it would be bad press, or like people wouldn't want to stay there, because they actually had a room 217, but they didn't have a room 237, so they changed it to 237.
Oh, at the hotel that they had?
Yeah, like when they were filming like the shots of the outside of the hotel, at the hotel that they shot at, they didn't want them to use room 217 in the movie because they thought that that people wouldn't want to stay there, because they actually had a room 217.
Understandable.
Yeah, but they didn't have room 237, so they changed it.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah. But I think 217 is like a really popular room in that hotel now anyway, so either way. Yeah, but any other thoughts after your first watch?
No, well, I really wasn't scared. I didn't have any jump scares. I was just very much confused.
I don't think there were really any jump scares in this one, because like I said, it's more psychological.
Yeah, I'm still fascinated. I'm still on that photo though. Like I gotta really do research on the photo when I go home today.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I do enjoy The Shining. I can enjoy it if I kind of put the book out of my mind. I can enjoy it.
That's why I can't read books and watch movies. I don't want to have that thought process at all.
Watching a movie makes me want to read the book.
But would you read the book first or would you watch the movie first?
To me, it doesn't really matter. I feel like a lot of people say you should read the book first, but to me, it doesn't really matter.
But I only say I don't want to read books. Like my
Mhm.
friend is reading Dune 3 right now, so he's gonna know everything that happens in Dune 3, the movie,
Mhm.
before he watches it. And I'm like, that's a waste of $20 because movie tickets are crazy, first of all, and plus you're ruining your experience. I'd rather see the movie first, and then if I have time to read the book, I'll read the book. In a way.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it also kind of depends on the movie like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, to me, it doesn't really matter what order I read it in. Sometimes I will try to hold off on the movie until I read the book,
Okay.
but I think I did that with The Hunger Games or with A Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I think I might have did that for that one, but I don't remember at this point. But yeah, these are really good movies and they're really good books. Have you seen or read any other Stephen King stuff?
No, not at all. That's why I
Really?
said I mix them up, R.L. Stein and but then again, probably I just mix them up with R.L. Stein and Stephen King. Literally.
I feel like I've seen a lot because my dad really loves Stephen King.
Name some of his movies.
Movies, the ones I've seen, like I said, I've seen Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. I've seen there is a sequel to Carrie, but it's not based off of a Stephen King book because he didn't write a sequel to Carrie, but they wrote a sequel anyway, and it's not very good, but it's called The Rage. And then there is a modern adaptation of Carrie from like 2013 or something.
Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
I prefer the original one, and that's all I'll say.
I was young when I seen it. Chloe was cute, so I liked it.
Yeah, I prefer the original. But I've seen Cujo, which is about a dog that gets rabies and he attacks a woman and her son and he like traps them in a car. I've seen Christine, which is about this guy who buys like a bright red car and he names it Christine, but the car is also possessed and it murders people.
I heard about it. Haven't seen it though.
Yeah.
Definitely heard about it.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Let's see. I've seen Pet Cemetery, the original one, not the remake. And then they also did a prequel to Pet Cemetery, which I have also watched. I've seen The Monkey.
That's a Stephen King movie?
I think it's a short story.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I liked it. It didn't get very good reviews, but I liked it.
Okay.
With Theo James, and I love Theo James.
4.
Yes, he's 4. Because I love Divergent, so I'll always love Theo James, no matter what anyone says. What else? I've seen a lot, but then it's hard to think of it off the top of my head. I've seen The Black Phone, which isn't Stephen King, but it's Joe Hill, who was Stephen King's son.
Yeah. I loved The Black Phone when it came out. I thought that was the best movie of the year when I seen it.
Yeah, it was really good. That's Stephen King's son. Like I said, it's so hard to think of off the top of my head. I know there's more.
A lot of movies.
A lot
of movies.
There's a lot. Oh, The Mist. I've seen.
I have not seen that yet, but I know the ending, so that's why I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's so bad. I can't remember if I knew it when I watched it, but even if I knew it, still watching it, so bad.
I would, if I probably didn't see it, I probably would have cried. If I didn't know the ending and I'd seen the movie, I probably would have cried when I first seen it.
Absolutely. It's so traumatizing. I never want to see it again. I never want to see that movie ever again. I can't do it. I can't do it. It was so bad. And I don't even think it ends like that in the book or in the story because it's a short story. I don't even think it ends like that in the story. I think they just made that up.
That's a great ending, though. That is definitely a great ending that people wouldn't expect.
No.
I might watch that this weekend. But I know how it ends.
Yeah, I've seen The Mist. I've seen they made like a mini series of The Stand. So I've seen that. It's like a post-apocalyptic story where like there's a virus that kills like 99% of humanity.
Okay.
So yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, there's a bunch that I'm like not thinking of because he's written hundreds of books and short stories. The Graveyard Shift, I've seen that. It's not very good. It's about like a textile mill that gets overrun with rats, and then there's like a giant superpowered rat that like controls all the other rats. I don't know. It was really low budget. It
King
was
Rat.
literally. And then I've seen Thinner. Um, which I think it's about this guy who's like really fat and then he eats this, or I think he gets cursed by something or someone and then he starts losing weight like really rapidly and he starts like freaking out. And then that one also has a bad ending where at the end he gets like this pie that's like poison and he knows that it's poison, but he takes it home and then his wife and his daughter eats it because they don't know that it's poison. So then he eats it too because he's like, well, my family's gonna die.
Why would
So
he bring it home?
I don't know. I don't remember. That's also one I've only seen once.
Was he black?
No.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, there's a lot that I'm not thinking of, obviously. But yeah. So you're not super familiar with Stephen King then? Yeah, I'm Googling it because I
Oh
really.
no, trust me, I see. I'm with you.
Misery. How did I forget Misery?
That's
I
when they're
love
trapped in the
Misery.
cabin, the author and the big fan.
Yes,
I
and
watched
Kathy
the
Bates.
I watched
She
the
did win
original.
the Oscar for that. How
Okay.
did I forget Misery? That's so good.
I've seen the original. She's very weird in that movie. A little
Yes,
scary.
she's so strange, and I love that movie. I can't believe I forgot. I'm so sorry, Kathy Bates.
Did he
I
create Rear Window?
no,
Am
that's
I
Alfred
saying?
Hitchcock.
Okay. That's one of my favorite black and white movies.
Rear Window. I don't. Was that black and white?
Yes, the original wasn't black and white.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Hmm.
Positive.
I don't
I
know.
don't watch that many black and white movies. Everything is in color now.
Firestarter. I've seen Firestarter and Children of the Corn.
Never seen Children of the Corn. Heard it's scary though. Creepy.
It's very creepy. Firestarter. I liked the book Firestarter more than either of the movies because the original one was with Drew Barrymore, young Drew Barrymore, and then there's a remake that wasn't very good at all. And then I like Children of the Corn. I've never read that though.
How many are there? Children of the Corn? Because I know it's probably like 3 to 4 movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Children of the Corn?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
I've only seen one. You might be right because a lot of these also get a lot of remakes and stuff.
Okay.
So you might be right, but I've only seen the one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then The Long Walk just came out, which
Did
I
you
do
see
want to
it?
see. No, I want to
No?
see it though. I want to, but I haven't seen it
I
yet.
haven't seen it yet either. My
Mm.
sister really wants to see it. I gave her a website though. It definitely did.
And then It, which I haven't seen, but you have.
You've never seen it?
No. I actually do want to because I'm not usually into that type of supernatural horror. 'Cause like I said, I'm really into psychological thrillers. Supernatural horror is like stuff that's actually scary to me, but I actually do want to try it.
It
I want to
is like
try the Bill Skarsgård one, and then I want to watch the original miniseries too.
the newer one is kind of like a psychological thriller because the boys they see the clown, but it's also all in their head at the same time. So it's like they're battling with things just a little bit. But I ain't gonna lie, I heard when the kids first seen Bill, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I heard they only saw him in like the first time I saw him was in the like full Pennywise
He
makeup.
scared the mess out of them kids. I
Yeah.
heard that they literally ran away from him,
Mhm.
like during one of the chase scenes.
Probably
Yo.
he looks terrifying. Which is why I haven't
Yo.
seen it, but I think I'm ready. I think I can handle it.
In the movie, he really looks terrifying.
Mhm.
Like he's in like his first scene, just when he
in the sewer.
little boat.
I've
yo.
seen that clip with him in the sewer. I've
God.
seen that. It
Now-
does look terrifying.
Now just imagine face to face with him.
Yeah, I think I'm ready though. I think I can handle it. I think I can handle it. I'm a big girl now. I think I can handle it. Let's see. I think that might be it that I've seen.
Okay.
Thinner. Yeah, I said that. I've never seen 1408, but I think that's another really famous one. The Graveyard Shift, I was right. I wasn't sure if I was actually right on that, but I was.
1408, is that when they get into the room?
Yeah, the hotel room that's
He-
supposed to be
he made
haunted.
that too?
Secret Window. He did
made
Secret Window?
I seen it. I love that movie.
Really? I've
Yeah,
actually only seen it
with
once.
Johnny Depp. What? It's crazy though. It
It
is crazy,
is. It
but
is.
I do love it because he's like 2 to 3 people in that movie. That's a psychological one though.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
really
I have
is.
seen it. I don't really remember because I only saw it the one time. I didn't know that was Stephen King. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I did not know that.
Okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen a couple now that you googled
Now
them.
that we're looking at them and we can remember, because this is definitely not all of them.
It can't be. No.
No, but yeah. So I've seen a good handful of Stephen King.
Okay.
Anyway, any final thoughts?
Carrie was better than The Shining in my opinion.
I don't know if it was better,
To me.
but I like it more.
To
Like if I
me.
had to pick, if I had to watch Carrie or The Shining, I would probably pick Carrie, which might be controversial.
We'll see after the video gets posted.
Yeah, we'll see people's thoughts. But yeah. Anyway, I think that is it for spooky season. Like I said, Halloween's next week. After that, we're moving into fall, Thanksgiving, which is, believe it or not, very hard to find things to watch for Thanksgiving. But yeah, I think that's our show.
Yes, sir. See you next week, guys.